Good evening.
Hello.
How are we all tonight? How you doing, Dina?
I'm doing great.
Excellent. Excellent.
How are you
It's been an
doing?
interesting week. And a lot of it we're going to get to discuss. Um, Aside from that, I think hopefully everything's well with you.
Everything's great.
Excellent.
Cheers.
Cheers indeed. May not be water. Forgot to follow up. Where are we at Ramadan, by the way? I think we wrote.
Today is the second last day. Tomorrow is the last day of Ramadan, and Friday is Eid. Eid Mubarak, everybody. I won't be able to say it to you. Well, I'll say it online, but Eid Mubarak to everybody. Yeah, this
Have a
was
big Eid Mubarak video to tell
for,
everybody Eid Mubarak.
yeah. It was a good year for fasting. This is the right time. So it moves up every year. It goes with the lunar calendar. And this is when it's still in the middle of the time change. So there's a time change halfway through Ramadan in this one.
For
But
us.
yeah, well, yeah, because Doug Ford kept saying that he was going to get rid of the daylight savings time. He still hasn't done that because he's full of shit. Um,
Easy beat you, bud.
yeah, well, it's time for us to get rid of the daylight savings time, but that's another topic. But anyways, it's only like
Mhm.
12 hours, 13 hours you're fasting. It's really nothing. So, yeah, and the season was good. It's not too cold. You get really cold when you don't have food in your system. But I have a good heater in my office. So, anyway.
Fair enough. I'll ask you later on in a post on Twitter because I'll be curious. What happens if somebody celebrates Ramadan in place like, let's say, the South Pole, where there's going to be no sunset?
Well, that's a good question, but all you do is you take from a reasonable time zone. So you can take it from another Arab country if you want to, Muslim country, or you could just take it from another country. So yeah, you don't. Yes, that's a good question because people will do fast Ramadan in the Arctic, and
Could be the Arctic, and let's be
it,
honest here in the future, if we ever get up to orbit, you could be in a situation where it's never sunset or it's constantly changing because you're
correct.
spinning around. So fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the first story. This is a quick update in regards to the Queen of Canada. Not Elizabeth, we already know what happened to her, but this one, Romana Didulo.
Oh my God.
All her charges
For
have been
state.
stayed.
Oh no.
They
I
have
didn't
been
I
stayed.
didn't know. I have not been following the Queen of Canada.
I'll be honest, I've been kind of keeping up on it in regards to seeing, hey, where are they now kind of thing. And not much has been going on since their arrest and their eviction from the building last year. I believe it was last year. We're going to go a little bit because these charges all stem from them being removed from there. So the trial of the self-proclaimed Queen of Canada, Romana Didulo, is over before it began. At the Swift Current Provincial Court on Wednesday morning, Judge Alan Jacobson told a touring group of high school law students that the charges against Didulo had been stayed. Didulo was charged with failing to comply with an undertaking condition and with intimidation of the justice system participants related to her time in Richmond. Excuse me. She was due to appear in court on Wednesday, but her name no longer on the docket. Didulo's preliminary inquiry was due to begin April 13th. Three other members of Didulo's Kingdom of Canada group. It's like a Facebook group.
I like how they're playing this game. Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah. 37-year-old Melanie Rinker, 63-year-old Nancy Jank, and 72-year-old Lise Beauchamp also had their charges of obstruction of a peace officer stayed recently. Ricky Mans, the owner of the former Richmond school the group had occupied for 2 years, had his matters adjourned to April 8th. So he's the only one that's remaining of the original letter charge there.
Okay, well.
So as it stands right now, these guys are no longer in the school. They're not allowed to be in the school, from my understanding, because the building is just it's condemned. It's just not safe for humans altogether. And so there's no information as to where they are now or where they're going. I don't know if they even have a Winnebago to their name.
they have they have sardines. I bet you they have sardines.
I'm sure they have sardines. I don't know if they have sardine one. Pretty sure they're down to, if they do have sardine one, that might be the last one they have. They went,
Apparently,
so vaccines babies reporting. Boom. They went to Regina after the school. So that should be interesting. I feel bad for Regina, although Regina, I feel, is going to be more equipped to handle them than any other place. And I'm still kind of curious as to,
why would Regina
like,
handle them better? I'm curious to
it's
know
a
that.
larger population than the town they were in. Larger
Okay.
town population, larger amount of resources. So if it gets a little problematic, I'm sure they're going to have more resources in regards to handling them. But it's like these guys are they're 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 there, but they're not gone. Like it is. I'm gonna be honest. It's one of my personal favorite little curiosities. I mean,
I I mean, there yeah. She causes trouble, but she bores me, to be honest. But it was a good laugh. We had a good laugh.
fair. I don't know. She's still my nostalgic one. I think. I mean, well, there were still ridiculous ones. I guess it's also it's someone I never got to meet.
Darn.
We all have our crazy little goals. That one
Yeah.
was mine. Oh well. She's not gone. She's not all done. She might get another Winnebago. She might come back around here. Then we might get to meet her. All right.
Maybe we'll have her on the show.
I would have loved to have done an interview with her. I think that would have been fun.
No.
No? I mean, not on the show, but just interview her.
No. Yeah, you go ahead.
So that'll be just a solo Joe adventure if she ever comes to the city. I doubt she'll ever come to the city. So, moving along. One of the next stories has to do with a recent ODSP protest that happened in Toronto, Queen's
OSAP.
Park. Yeah, sorry, OSAP,
OSAP.
not ODSP. Correct.
So the Ontario went worse and worse. The what is it? The Ontario Student Assistant Program, is that what it stands for? Is that what?
I believe so. Okay. I believe so. It's been a while since I've dealt with OSAP, being over a certain age. Yeah, here's the video. These are two combined showing you the start of the protest and how it went, fortunately.
We hate Darfur! We hate Darfur!
Can't disagree.
We hate Darfur! We hate Darfur! We hate Darfur!
Look at those big tough cops beating up on students.
Bro, they wilding like yeah, bro, that's me, yo, wilding, bro. Yo, I got people that want to kill you, bro. Hey, man.
Oops.
If you think I'm about to end up like George Floyd, you lost it. Yo, they're not George Floyding my
It's absolute unnecessary ridiculousness. Like, what the hell was that for? What the hell was that all about? Like,
if you're worried about kids, maybe you're not in the right job.
Grown men with guns beating up on students for saying they hate Doug Ford. Come on. Do better, losers. Fucking losers. Ugh.
I mean, it's immediately you're gonna get those people who are gonna be responding and like, oh well, what were the kids doing? They were protesting.
They were doing
like, well,
nothing.
The police were definitely reacting because of there's something they were doing. No,
we
you
saw
and I
it.
firsthand have seen multiple times the police being aggressive without
no provocation,
any activity, no provocation.
No, they just decided they were going to start ramming into students. Cool. Like, yeah, that's the training you get when you send your top dogs to Israel. That's the training they get. They bring it back and start beating up on kids.
That is
exactly what that is.
I worry about Edmonton.
It's not just Edmonton.
No,
This
it's not.
was the Mayor's Association. What is it? The Mayor's Chief. So what is it? Mayor's Chief. Oh fuck! I whatever.
Mayor
These
Chiefs
are
Association, I think.
top
Yeah.
police officers, chiefs of police, leaders within the community going to Israel to learn.
Yeah.
Fuck off with that bullshit. Gross.
It is, and when it comes to, I was talking to other people, and I was explaining, like, when it comes to policing, a lot of training information that comes to North America originates in Israel.
Yep.
And when you start to look into, well, the training and how they develop it, that's when it starts getting horrifying, because they use it and developed it based on their interactions with Palestinians. And that's why you see there's a big sort of leaning on aggression. So, but yeah.
It is called.
Oh,
Sorry.
we're
I
about
have
to have
it
the correct term name here.
Yeah, we are going to have it. Just 1 second. Chief of Police.
But yes, what the name that Deana's right to look it up for is in regards to the program for the chiefs of police, and I believe the mayors also go tour in Israel in regards to all the different police stations, as well as to learn training protocols. And while
The
they
Mayor's
make it sound,
Chiefs Association. The Major Cities Chiefs Association is who sponsors our chiefs of police and leaders of our communities to go to Israel to learn from their police, to bring it back to Canada.
I wonder who funds them.
Yeah, good question. I don't know if
That'll
it
be
says.
something we can take a look at later on.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we shall take a look at the next story. And that would be, as some of you guys already know, federal government, as of yesterday,
The last day, the 11th hour.
11th hour, I believe I heard some like hours or minutes within the deadline. Federal government filed their appeal in regards to the Emergencies Act, in regards to what was occurring at the Supreme Court. To the Supreme Court. Now, for those who aren't aware, federal government is bringing its case to justify the use of the Emergencies Act to clear the convoy protests that gridlocked the capital city at border points to the country's highest court. Now, the Federal Court of Appeal dismissed the government's previous appeal after a lower court ruled that the former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's decision to use legislation was unlawful and infringed on protesters' charter rights. In the 2024 decision, Federal Court Justice Richard Mosley, since retired, said the government's decision lacked justification, transparency, and intelligibility. Skipping to the next part, the government has long argued the protests posed a security threat, and the measures it took under the Emergency Act were targeted, proportional, and temporary. But the appeals court decision agreed with Mosley's finding that Cabinet did not have the reasonable grounds to believe that a threat to national security existed, and fell short of the legal threshold needed to invoke the act. As disturbing and disruptive the blockades and convoy protests in Ottawa could be, they fell short of a threat to national security, wrote 3 judges on the appeal court. Now, I'm bringing back here, I'll bring this part here. I'm going to have an additional part from a previous article in CBC when we come back to Justice Rouleau. So, mandatory inquiry led by Commissioner Justice Rouleau reviewed the government's use of Emergencies Act and came to a different conclusion in early 2023 than the subsequent legal challenges. Rouleau concluded the federal government met the very high threshold needed to invoke the Emergencies Act, citing a failure in policing and federalism. But back in March 6th, one additional point was, in his final report, Rouleau argued that the definition of threats to security of Canada in the CSIS Act should be removed from this Emergencies Act, as it acts as a source of controversy and misunderstanding.
But it's in there.
It's in there.
Which means they're going to lose. Now, okay, two parts to this. I said this in the last show, and
Mhm.
it's probably true because I heard it from lawyers, that usually when you go to the appeals court, this is the saying something to the effect of that's where cases go to die, is this the appeals court, is what I was told. And so if you really want it to, you know, this is what they're saying. These are not my words. And I have yet to find out, and I don't know the stats. The stats are actually, I do know the stats. I think it's like 80% of decisions that go to the appeals court don't come out in favor. It might be even more than that because I had brought it up with another lawyer. But anyway, so yeah, you need to take it to the Supreme Court. But I trust the opinion of Paul Champ, who has long stated from the beginning that the Emergencies Act should have never been invoked, that the responsibility fell on the shoulders of the police, that they had the tools before them to deal with it. They just didn't. And we all saw that. It was such a debacle from all levels of police who had responsibility to protect the citizens from, you know, what was happening, and they didn't. And so I agree with Paul Champ in that instance. And whatever, I guess we'll see.
We'll see. I'm going to take a slight hot take here into saying that there might be something to it. Now, before I get the like an angry messaging and whatnot, I'm not from you. No. Just let's be honest here. I'm just expecting. I think they might have a legal chance. Now, do I think that the Emergencies Act should have been invoked? Yes. Do I think there's a legal issue in them having invoked it? I think there might be. And this is one of the things I wanted to point back, which was the wording in regards to national security. And it's been the wording they've been going over as to declaring on national security. And also, additionally, the CSIS being required in that definition. And I remember during the POEC, when you and I were there during the POEC at the last summary, and during Rouleau's statements about it, he did make mention that there was problems in regards to the triggers right now. Like this here is a little vague and a little problematic and kind of specific. It doesn't take into account things like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still a crisis that occurred and did need to be addressed.
Made in the 80s, right? Like the Emergencies Act was something that was passed in the 80s, was it?
I believe it was made in the 80s. It was made to replace the War Measures Act, and I believe it was made after the Constitution came back to Canada. So that's when they did the whole thing. I can't remember specifically. I'll have to look that one up. But when they made it, like they put in all the provisions they can obviously anticipate, but they can't anticipate everything, and therefore,
they didn't have the internet like they have it now. Like they didn't have social media, I guess, is more what I mean than not so much the internet.
They didn't have quite as many things. I mean, even like the closest thing that you can consider sort of a scale of a disruption, just not multi-province as the convoy would be something like Oka. And I think kind of Oka to them was kind of a passive saying like, look, if it's a small thing that's kind of around that scale, like Oka's was, Oka was handled without using the Emergencies Act. They used the National Defense Assistance Act, and that called in the Army. The province was able to call in the Army to help address the issue.
That was disgusting.
And I'm not going to go into the whole thing in regards to Oka because that's a whole thing in regards to it, but that's what was used there. And there's lots of questions as to why that wasn't used in regards to Ottawa and in regards to addressing. But I think the biggest failure would have been because the national defense was called by the province in Quebec. In Ontario, the premier was somewhere in his cottage.
Well, yeah, that, and also that would have it would have not been a popular decision, because I remember the discussion around, and reporters were asking about the military being put on our streets, and nobody wanted that. Nobody wanted that. Even as much as people wanted the convoy to be gone, nobody wanted to see the military being put in our streets to remove
No.
Canadian citizens.
It was
So
unpopular when the War Marshal's Act was used in Quebec.
yeah,
It was unpopular, especially after when it was used in Oka.
yeah.
And if they did this, could you imagine if the soldiers were deployed not just at Coots, not just at Windsor, but on the streets of Ottawa in front of Parliament Hill?
Yeah, that would have been ridiculous.
It would have been, it would have been absolutely incredible. Like it just wasn't, yeah. So Vintage actually is confirming 1988 in regards to the new implementation of the Emergencies Act.
Okay.
And I do believe her information is usually pretty reliable. Something about a historian
Nice.
degree or something like that.
Nice.
That's a thing. Research is a thing. But yeah, I think this one is good. I don't think it's my whole thing in regards to this going to Supreme Court. I think the federal government has a chance to win, but I don't think it's going to be that sort of guaranteed. I think there's a risk. Now, the second thing
What's their motivation?
So this brings me to a sort of side question in regards to this, because there was an interesting question that was brought up in one of my lives a couple of nights back in regards to the whole thing. When the Emergencies Act was kind of coming in there and everybody was talking about if this could be declared. And at the time, it wasn't quite declared that they were going to, they declared they're going to appeal it, but it hadn't been filed yet. But one of the persons brought up a fantastic question. Is like, if this is a guilty or not guilty, who cares? What's the point of all this money and everything, all the expenditures going into it? And so sorry,
I know why.
Do tell.
Well,
I did the research in regards to it, but do tell. What do you know?
You did the research? Okay, well, here's my hypothesis without doing any research. Given that we are in a World War III right now, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, we are in World War III. That is happening. We have countries mobilizing and siding with the different sides. And it will escalate. It is going to get worse before it gets better. And you will see the people in Canada actually eventually get up off their asses, because I do believe that Mark Carney will be sending our soldiers into this fight, despite the fact that he says he's not going to. UK just went into the fight. UK is now part of this illegal war on Iran. And Mark Carney is saying he's planting seeds. People aren't paying attention, or they're just not wanting to. But I think he's planting seeds. And I think there's going to be a general strike. And I think that is going to, this Emergencies Act question is, something that they might, either that or what was the other one? What was the other one where they bring the military into the street? What was that?
Well, the military is done, but I just lost Deana there. So while she's correcting whatever the issue is, there we go. Welcome back.
Yeah, what happened?
I'm not sure. You just disappeared.
You're slow on my end, but my internet is fine, so I don't know.
A lot of people watch my live and call me slow.
Yeah, I'm just gonna close off some stuff. Maybe that might be. I doubt it though. But anyways, that is my opinion.
All right, so that all that's possible. The technical things I looked into in regards to some of the research points. The first thing was significant was nothing legal is going to occur, regardless of which direction it's found justified or not justified. As in, nobody's gonna get arrested, nobody's gonna get sued. There's no arrest of Trudeau. That's not fucking happening. Period. Like that's just not gonna be a thing. What it does do is, regardless of the fact the Emergencies Act was passed, that's not going to change anything in regards to those suits either. they're going to continue to go as is. What is possibly going to happen here, and I think this is where, and this is kind of where I'm kind of a little bit annoyed, is because to me this feels like sort of like a particular legal maneuver that's been sort of consumed by these idiots. What's going to occur is if they are found that it wasn't legally permitted, as I said, nothing is going to change there. And they're just not going to be able to do it in that particular way again. That's fine. What you've just told the government now is that the law doesn't allow me to do it this way. Therefore, I'm now going to change the law so I can. And you give them the template to be able to modify
giving them
the
the
Emergencies Act.
The Supreme Court?
If the Supreme Court turns around and says that you can't invoke the Emergencies Act like this, they're going to reopen the act. They're going to correct it so that they can. And at the same time, when these fuckers are opening the act, they're going to make additional changes that have nothing to do with address the original issue. And this is the problem. And this is our concern that we should have, which is because, again, all the other bills we've been seeing have been sliding other shit in here, and it's all building up.
Yeah.
And if these guys are going to give them the opportunity to open up the Emergencies Act, what do you think is going to happen? You are thinking this is a win. You dodo heads, this is not a win.
No.
None of this is going to be a win for anybody.
Nope. Every bill that they're passing is stripping away our civil liberties, and they're doing very American style legislation, just more polished, and their messaging is way more polished than what you are seeing coming out of the United States. People need to start paying attention, and they need to be concerned. It's not affecting you right now, the majority of our audience, because our audience is privileged. I would say most of our audience is these liberals. Like I'm, unpopular opinion here. I'm, this one lady who got the police at her door where was she, in Quebec, because she threatened the prime minister, and everybody's like, yeah, you shouldn't threaten the prime minister. I read her post, you guys. Unpopular opinion, her post could have been construed in different ways. I don't think that was warranted for the police to come to her door for whatever she said about Carney. I'm coming for you doesn't mean I'm coming to kill you. I'm coming for you could mean I'm coming for your job. It could mean anything. And it's
a little gray.
Justifiably pissed off at our Zionist prime minister. People are losing their lives in the hundreds, the thousands every week in this unjust genocide. You need to be more pissed off. You need to stop worrying about feelings. No, don't get on there and say, I'm going to, somebody. Obviously, you don't do that. Yeah. But for people to jump all over this woman because she shouldn't have said that in her post to warrant the police coming to her door. I've seen actual threats to the prime minister, and those were justified when the police went there. This woman, I don't know who she is. I don't know if she's a convite. I don't know if she's a, whatever. I just know that she is saying that Zionist prime minister is not my prime minister.
We've reported on two of them, if I remember correctly. One of them was an individual on TikTok that made a direct threat of actually killing the prime minister.
Yes.
And it wasn't anything open to interpretation. That was
and showing their gun and all that other stuff. That was
the second one, which was in Quebec, and that was a second individual who was showing a gun rack and all sorts. I think one of them actually passed away in an incident too. But yeah, it was like there are legitimate threats, and absolutely, like, do not make threats towards her. But let's be clear, like, if it's an actual legitimate threat, absolutely, that's a thing too far. But if you're trying to make it about something else,
And I would really wish that these people would put that much effort into talking about all the children and the people who are dying and the prisoners who are about to be hung for no fucking reason through in administrative detention, these hostages in Israeli prisons. Stop talking about this woman. I don't care. Like, you should be upset that that's what the police are focusing their attention on. Mark Carney is not in any danger from this woman. Give me a break.
yeah, I mean, at least show a little bit of pattern. I mean, I know you want to get jump onto any issue that comes there, but again, if you're going to react to every single little message from the prime minister, all right, that's a lot of resources you have, but
yeah, actual death threats, yes, react to that.
Yeah. But yeah, that is that. So yeah, so we're going to find out. I'm not sure when the Supreme Court's going to be filing to hear the Emergencies Act appeal.
They just filed it. I think.
Yeah, it's probably got to be for a couple of months. I take it.
Yeah, probably.
Your prediction. So hang on, let's make it official. Your prediction is that it's going to be held so that the government's correct?
No, that the court is correct.
Oh, the court is correct.
They will not overturn the court's decision. They will not overturn the first court's decision, and they will not overturn the appeals court decision. The Supreme Court will uphold the court's decision. That is my prediction.
Okay, all right. So I think we're both in the same place then.
Yeah.
I think it's
I think their motivation is strange to me, and it's a waste of our taxpayer dollars. And that is what my opinion is. Yeah, Joe is freezing. It's not me. Maple Mines, thank you. You're the one who's it's your internet that's
I'm
having
not
issues.
doing anything here.
Well, you're not doing anything, but I'm saying it's not my internet, it's your internet.
I know. It's a little weird. So I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can do anything to improve it. I don't know if anybody else is having any issues with it.
The government doesn't care if they're going to get sued. They have enough resources that
They do. But again, I think they're going to try to push it all the way to the end. And I think it's just for nostalgia now. But again, I'm quite convinced they are going to just use it as a reason to crack open the Emergencies Act. And you're not going to like what comes out of it after they do that.
I think they know what's coming. I think they know there's going to be civil unrest. That's what happens when you're in a world war.
Yeah. They are, and again, they're going to use this as a reason to put in some things just, in case we have to deal with another trucker convoy. This is what you asked for. And they go.
I don't think that's what they're worried about. They're not worried about trucker convoy. They're worried about.
No. I said they're. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're worried about the trucker convoy. I say you're worried about the trucker convoy. We're going to make these changes to protect you, and you're going to like it.
Oh, that's going to be their messaging. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
We're gonna put in these new anti-hate laws because anti-Semitism is on the rise. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna make swastikas illegal. They already were. Thank you, though. Like that whole nonsense that they kept pushing. Oh, now people can walk around with swastikas. No, they actually couldn't. You never.
Although they did.
They did, but that's because the police once again failed to do their job, just like they failed to do their job during the convoy. It has nothing to do with the fact that our laws aren't strong enough. It's because our police protect Nazis. That's the answer.
And the right is all upset about C9 for the wrong reasons, because again they don't quite understand what the problem is with this one. But C9 is not a problem on its own. It's the fact that there's plumbing in there that allows them to modify it without having to pass anything through the House.
Yeah.
Like just modifying the list of what's an extremist group. That's it. That's totally considered hate. You can be arrested for it.
Hate symbols, the upside down triangle, the red triangle. That's
that'll be what in there.
Times that they brought up the fact that I was carrying a watermelon dog tote. What does a watermelon symbolize?
Something tasting in the summer.
Palestinian resistance? Is that a bad thing? Is that against the law that the Palestinians fight for their lives because they're under an apartheid and now a genocide? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's true.
Get a life. Go to a fucking
Mm.
history class.
Indeed. Speaking of OSAP, thank you, Obi. That brings up to the next topic, which is recently there was an OSAP protest at
Yeah.
Queens. Oh, no, wait. I'm not. I already know the OSAP. Sorry, I'm Montreal School Board.
This is crazy.
Yes.
This
So
story
Montreal
is
School
nuts.
Board. I'm going to let the video do the explanation on this one for us. And but there's actually two videos here. So the first one is the one, Deana, you're aware of. The second one is a follow-up in regards to what occurs, because he made a second video the next day to say that's not what's going on, but you need to hear about it because there's actually more. We'll let him explain it. By the way, this is Curtis from the Rover.
The English Montreal School Board is sending students to Israel next month as Iranian and Hezbollah missiles break through the Iron Dome and strike targets within the country. The EMSB thinks it's a good idea to send kids there.
April, the March of the Living will take place. It's going to bring students from all over the world to Poland and Israel to mark the remembrance of the Holocaust. And the MSB will have an entourage of 4.
Well, this is in the context of a Holocaust remembrance ceremony. That's very important, but they have them in Poland. They have them across Europe, you know, where the Holocaust occurred. But for some reason, the EMSB thinks it's a good idea to associate itself so closely with a country that is A, at war, and more reports are indicating they're not exactly safe from Iranian missiles, and definitely not as safe as we are being led to believe. Perhaps an even bigger issue, and I would argue an even bigger issue, that this is a kind of tacit endorsement of Israel's war against Iran. And also they've invaded southern Lebanon and bombed Beirut mercilessly, wherein there are reports of carpet bombing of Tehran. The oil refineries that were hit outside of the Iranian capital have created a kind of toxic rain. Over 1,000 people have been killed. 150 students at an all-girls school were killed on the first day of this war, but they were Iranian, so in our Western minds, they count less. Lebanese refugee camps have been targeted. This is really bad. Now remember, this is a school board that suspended a child for posting "fuck Israel" on her personal Instagram. This is a school board that voted to absolve one of its elected commissioners after it was determined that he smeared a rival candidate by associating her falsely with anti-Semitism, referring to her as Miss Gaza. To recap, the Prime Minister of Israel would be arrested if he set foot in Canada because he is a wanted war criminal. We're sending our kids to that guy. And we can't guarantee that they'll be safe. And here's the other thing. Its commissioners are very powerful within Anglo politics, which makes them very powerful within Quebec liberal politics. And if they don't think this will be an albatross around their necks, while they try to depict the PQ as anti-immigration and morally bankrupt, well, I would argue they take a long, hard look in the mirror. This is a profoundly irresponsible decision on the part of the EMSB. And that is just my opinion. That's not the news.
EMSB is not sending children to Israel during a war. Yesterday, I released a video where I said the EMSB is sending its students to Israel during a war. Well, as it turns out, I was wrong. Let me explain. These kids are participating in something called the March of the Living, a Holocaust remembrance ceremony. It takes place in Poland and in Israel. Happens every year, whether there's a war and a genocide or not. Anyway, it is not an official initiative of the English School Board of Montreal. However, and I think here's where we're kind of getting lost in the sauce, the school board is using its branding to promote the trip. It's using its social media to promote the trip. It's using its official spokesperson, who is a public servant, to promote the trip. So while technically the EMSB is not sending those kids, they are approving the trip and endorsing it. And that is why I said, look, I don't think it's great judgment. For the politics aside, right? Like, if we can somehow forget about what the United Nations, the International Association of Genocide Scholars, Amnesty International, Save the Children, Oxfam, and Israeli charitable group B'Tselem are all calling a genocide, if we could put that aside, and if we could put aside the fact that Israel is carpet bombing Iran, that this war is illegal, let us at least consider Israel is not a safe place right now. There are travel advisories against going. Ben Gurion International Airport just started allowing people to leave the country. It's not a good time. My whole point was, why put them in that situation? And it was brought to my attention that maybe somebody would watch my video and unfairly target those kids, and that is the last thing I want. But I would simply state this. The MSB made a video with those kids, with their real names and their full identities on display over something that is not a trivial matter and that is not uncontroversial. So I think I stand by my original position, which is that this is super irresponsible. Knock it off. At the end of the day, the school is using taxpayer resources. It could be 10 cents, it could be $1 million, it doesn't matter. It's the principle. They're using taxpayer resources to promote a trip to an extremely problematic country. And this isn't just the opinion of some crazy leftist. Although, yes, I am a crazy leftist. It's a majority of Canadians think this is a genocide. A majority of Canadians do not trust Israel or consider them a reliable ally. I don't think the MSB has thought about any of this. And that is concerning.
That's crazy.
It is.
They tried to, I'm sure he got a letter, some sort of cease and desist letter or something, saying that he was wrong in his messaging, but he wasn't. They literally are promoting this fucking trip. Our institutions are fucking hijacked by the Zionist entity, and we need to fucking seriously cleanse the shit out of them. What the hell is this?
CJ and B'nai B'rith have a very strong influence amongst politicians, organizations. They come in and they just say bad, and people will jump. They say any criticism of Israel is anti-Semitic, even though the entire essence of it makes no sense. You're criticizing a country and its politics, something you can do with any other country. Like, criticizing Iran doesn't make me Islamophobic.
No.
Makes me political.
That's right. Criticizing the Taliban doesn't make you Islamophobic, which is what I said in court when they were like, and then the audacity, guys, honestly, one day we'll go over this. The audacity of the Crown to say, Your Honor, I wasn't talking about her political opinion. I was talking about, I'm like, Zionism is a political opinion, buddy. It's a political ideology. Like, more so than Talibanism. Talibanism is a fundamental, psychotic, Muslim fundamentalism. Like, give me a break. Anyway, they just bombed Israel's main train, like their main train station, whatever. What are you sending your kids to? What idiot parent is okay with sending their kids to Israel right now? Are you not paying attention to what's going on? You think your kids are going to be safe? Like, the leader of the country and Smotrich and 4 others are gone. Like, they're not around anymore.
Well, and I mean, that's at one point here, there is a discussion in regards to, the school board maybe not be the ones that are organizing to send the kids there, but they're endorsing it. They're involved. They're very part. Yeah. They're opening up the whole thing to it. But the second thing is also kind of falls onto the parents as to what the hell, what kind of parent is sending their kids to Israel right now?
The judgment of those parents. You guys, some of these people saying that I bring my daughter to protests. You think protests are bad?
Yeah. I'm like, there are no fly zones over Israel and Iran right now because of, skies full of missiles. Like, if planes can't even get there, first of all, I'm not even sure how your children are going to get there.
This is a tactic.
Yeah. Are they going to go through Lebanon? That seems kind of weird.
No, it's a tactic. If Canadian children are at risk now, oh my God, Canada needs to jump into this war. Our children are at risk.
Save
There's
the
a
fucking
fucking
children.
travel advisory, people. Why would you be promoting this?
I've been saying this for years. Always be cautious about a person screaming. You got to think about the children, save the children. There's always something up to it.
100%.
It's usually used to appeal to emotion, to get you to do something. It's what it's probably what they learned from the 2S LGBTQ protests
Here.
in regards to saving the children. Even back in the World War II, they were used to, like, everything that he was doing during the Nazi time. He was saying, think about the children. A lot of that messaging was there. Unfortunately, your screen is white.
Okay, here we go. I just pulled it up. Israel and Palestine travel advice. This is from the Canadian government. Latest update, March 18th at 13:13. 1:13 p.m.
Perfect.
Israel. This is in red with an X in it. And in red, it says Israel. Avoid all travel in caps lock. Avoid all travel to Israel due to the ongoing military activities. Military activities, eh? You say? The security situation could deteriorate further without notice. Oh, okay. Do they have a special bunker reserved for these children? I hope so. Shelter in place, however, if you assess that travel to the airport or to a land border crossing is safe, you should leave the country at the earliest opportunity while commercial options remain available. Leave the country, not come into the country, okay? That's what the Canadian government is saying. Okay, Palestine, avoid all travel. Avoid all travel to Palestine due to the ongoing military activities. The dire humanitarian conditions. Well, this is interesting. The volatile and unpredictable security situation and extensive damage to infrastructure in the Gaza Strip, and the volatile security situation in the West Bank. The security situation can deteriorate rapidly in both Israel and Palestine. Jerusalem, avoid all travel. Okay, anyway. Cool.
Cool indeed.
Yeah. Good job, Montreal School Board. Good job.
Exactly. So yeah, there's like the whole thing is absolutely bizarre. And again, it's exactly that. At some point, you have to look at it like, what kind of parent would send their kids down to Israel right now in the middle of, missiles falling? It's just like, I'll be safe. There's an Iron Dome and everything else. I'm like, yeah, what if it fails? Oh, well.
The Iron Dome has been failing. What do you mean, what if it fails? It is failing. That's why there's so much damage in Israel.
I know that, but they think it's working. They think it's working.
I don't know. I love my kids. I wouldn't be sending them to a war zone on purpose.
That's more than fair. I wouldn't send mine either. All right. Moving on. Let's go to Toronto. And now we're going to move away from Israel and go to just plain old Islamophobia.
Yeah.
A friend of ours reporting.
So yesterday there was a town hall in Mississauga about the famous Ridgeway Plaza. Unfortunately, Ridgeway has been under heavy criticism since it has opened. There has been a lot of complaints about noise, gatherings, people staying late, celebrations, but this is also what makes Ridgeway beautiful. It has become a community space for people to celebrate the decolonization of their countries together, the celebration of different food. The reality of this plaza, people come here dressed really nice. It's families, kids, I don't know, maybe find their potential significant other. So I spoke. I asked why they're holding this town hall at the time of iftar when Muslims are breaking their fast, so that most Muslims couldn't be there, and they're the ones that are most implicated It was mostly an uproar of white, racist people who are not happy to see Muslims gathering and Muslims succeeding. And so they have been calling for increased police presence, visible police presence.
I moved to Montreal and moved back. A big part of that was Ridgeway Plaza. Coming here, facing the discrimination and assaults that I've faced, I've never felt more safe and at peace than here at Ridgeway Plaza. But I see you can keep fighting it or you can embrace it. I think Ridgeway Plaza, any city I think would want a Ridgeway Plaza. Public safety is
Thanks for the diatribe. Take your manifesto out of here. I don't want to hear it anymore. That's not a question.
They call us uncivilized.
That's not a question.
Please.
Yes, very interesting.
I just want to finish and say that
Everybody's racist, right?
I just want to finish and say that I think at Ridgeway Plaza there should be, if there's a parking issue, there should be a parking garage built, an underground parking garage. There should be walkable spaces, beautiful designated spaces for people to sit. Screens, fighting it and adding speed bumps and all this is not the solution. And I really advise our city planners
Can you take the mic away from him?
It was sad and scary to see the racism in the people who live amongst us. And then another person who's white saying, I'm scared, someone's gonna hit me behind me just because they want to get a shawarma. Now there's no going back. And rather than trying to fight it, which the city has been consistently doing, whether Mayor Caroline Parrish or the city councilors, they need to embrace it. That means you have to figure out what to do with the parking. People are gonna keep coming here. You can either fight it and you're gonna fail, or you embrace it and you absolutely thrive with this plaza that is putting Mississauga in the light in the best way.
Wow.
The only person I know that might be dangerous when shawarma's involved might be me. But I'm not even Muslim.
No, you're not. Especially if they have a cheese pie.
Absolutely. I am all over that. That is best.
That was incredibly racist. That was crazy.
That was. I'm going to be honest. None of it surprised me.
Yeah.
And I can tell you and point to you, and you know where it's coming from now. What's been fueling it? What's been building it? It's, first of all, that right there, that's fucking fighting words right there, dang. Second thing, do not diss the shawarma. Yeah, dang it. I had the pleasure of having shawarma with her. She just has no ability to enjoy a good shawarma. It's her fault. We don't really.
Where you went to the station?
We went to the station.
Next time go to Palace, and she'll have a different opinion.
Fair, and I will say Palace is if you want a shawarma, but if you want with cheese pie, there's only one place.
Yeah.
But yeah. Everything about that particular video there, and everything I've looked and listened to these guys, I'm like, you're fucking Puck Daddy buddies. That's all it is. We saw it from there, and again, it's not limited to Puck Daddy. Like he's one of those markers along like all the shit being brought.
There was just as many of them in that group, though. There wasn't that many people there. Khaled was right. If they would have held it at a different time, where Muslims would be able to be there, those people wouldn't have been able to have been as bold as they were. They wouldn't have been, and they would have been outnumbered at the end of the day because, everybody was going for iftar, was eating dinner at that time, or breakfast, I should say, really.
But I mean, to the here's my entitled white ass saying this. Muslim people shouldn't need to be there to defend themselves against fucking racism. We should be smart enough to deal with it.
I had this conversation today. Yes, I had this conversation today with somebody. Yeah,
it's not on the oppressed to do this on their own. We need to.
I said that. Yeah.
Yeah. This meeting shouldn't have happened. If there's an issue with regards to noise, all right, fine. Talk about the noise, but they should not need to be there because these guys are going to be racist asshats.
Yep.
that's it. That's all. There should not be this going on right now at all.
But literally, I think what there was 35 of them in that room. They can fuck right off.
Absolutely.
But it was good for Khalid and Rada and whoever else was filming to completely expose those people for who they are. They look like racists. They are racist, and they were platformed as racists.
But
It's good.
these are the yeah. I don't disagree that these guys are racist. I will say these guys are the more common quiet racists. Then we know these ones. They're not quite they're not overt racist. They're not running up with you know, second sons and other shit to be overtly. But they're the ones that are there like yeah, you know, those guys are just different than us, you know? Like they're all under the breath kind of racism. And that fucking number's
Not
growing
that
again.
white guy that was loud, that was being an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
That guy is an overt racist for sure. That guy calls
Yeah.
people the N-word with no issue at all.
Yeah.
I've seen
I don't disagree that there's a couple of guys in there that were quite clear they could be a little bit more overt than the other ones
Yeah.
and standing up for it. And if anything, they're helping normalize it for the ones that are already halfway there.
maybe.
They're making, because again, we had a lot of them that were in the woodwork before. Now they're coming out. And it's these examples of these things where they're more comfortable to say it out there. Again, these guys are afraid C9 are get arrested if they're saying anything racist. Doesn't seem to be getting you arrested right now, buddy.
Let me say this. Just like with the other protests, now that has been exposed because of Khalid's work and Gada's work, if they ever do one of those things again, you bet your bottom dollar they will be outnumbered. This is because nobody really knew that this was going to be as hot as it was, right? As you know, whatever. It was the same thing with any of the other protests when we had to start putting on our defenders caps on and become defenders, because these little groups would come out and you know, be this disgusting. And so the community was like, no, we aren't going to allow this to fester and grow. And so I guarantee you, if they do another one of those things, another one of those town halls, they will be the minority at that point. I guarantee you the community will rise up and be like, no, we're not having this. That's my opinion.
I hope so. Hopefully it's not going to be during another Ramadan.
Well, Ramadan's over.
It's true. Well,
Unless
2 days.
they hold it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or Friday.
Indeed. All right. Now we get to the main story. The one I think a few people have been waiting for.
Yes.
And so I did not queue up the video here. Give me a second. Because
We're going to be talking about the Quds Day Rally. And
absolutely
the
will.
lead up to it, the day, and the fallout.
Exactly. So as everybody remembers, Quds, as Tina was talking about it last week, is an annual event in regards to actually, Tina, you can tell us a little bit about what Quds is.
Well, Quds was started in 1979 by the Ayatollah Khamenei, and Quds means Jerusalem. And so it was an opportunity. It's the last Friday of Ramadan, where everybody comes out and they protest. They get socially active, politically engaged, and remember the struggle for the Palestinian people. And so this particular Quds Day has been going on in Canada, I believe, for over 10 years. And it's happened every year, the last Friday of Ramadan in Toronto. And this particular Quds they wanted to highlight as well was Lebanon and Iran, because of the illegal war that's happening to the Iranian people and to the Lebanese people, as well as the Palestinian people. And so, like I said, it's happened every year, and it was happening again this year, planned for a very long time. And thousands of people showed up to the rally. and it was a success. But before the rally happened, we got an announcement from our shitty fascist Zionist Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford.
Well, good afternoon. Over the last few weeks, I've been disgusted and appalled by the open hatred and violence taking place in our country. We've seen synagogues and consulates shot up. We've seen entire communities targeted and intimidated. And just yesterday, right across the border, we've seen a hatred few of us can even imagine and understand. When a gunman attacked innocent Jewish worshipers inside a Michigan synagogue, we need to speak honestly and openly about the hatred that runs more rampant on our streets with each passing day. We need to speak hard truths, truths some of us may not want to hear or acknowledge. I don't recognize our country, the Canada we know and love, a Canada that embraces differences, a Canada that celebrates diversity. That Canada is slipping away. If we don't stand up against the open hatred we see in our country today, more violence and hate will follow against every race, every religion, and every community, with deadly consequences. That brings me to tomorrow's Quds Day demonstration in Toronto. This demonstration is nothing more than a breeding ground for hate and anti-Semitism. It glorifies violence. It celebrates terrorism. It has no place in Ontario. It has no place in Canada. That's why today I've instructed my Attorney General Doug Downey to pursue an injunction that would stop this hateful demonstration. If we don't act now, if we don't act decisively, the hatred won't stop. Our government has a responsibility to do everything we can to protect our communities and put an end to the hate that we see in our province and country. This injunction is worth doing on its own merits. We need to stand up for what's right, for what's just. And no matter what, I fully expect that the police will do their jobs and immediately intervene at the first sign of hate, violence, or glorification of terrorist organizations. We're so fortunate to live in the greatest country on earth. For too long, we've taken for granted the kind of rights that people are fighting and dying for this very minute. I believe deeply in our fundamental freedom of speech, but nobody in this province has the right to incite violence, and no one has a free license to hate. We won't stand for it. Instead of focusing on what divides us, let's come together and focus on what unites us. Let's work together to keep building the greatest province, the greatest country on earth. Let's stand up to hate, however and wherever we can. Thank you, and may God bless the people of Ontario.
Did he just say God bless people of Ontario?
Yeah, he's disgusting.
Fucking Americans suck up.
Right, exactly. He is such a little Trumpian little piece of shit, garbage pile. He's talking about communities being targeted. We just saw in our last clip Muslims being targeted.
Yep.
Okay. I guess it only matters if it's one group of people that are presumed to be targeted. Okay. Then he brings up the Michigan synagogue. Don't bring up the United States with shootings. That is irrelevant. The United States shoots kids. Every week there is a new school shooting. Why don't you ever speak about the sadness of children dying in a school shooting and saying that needs to stop?
Yeah, I could find a shooting in the States probably within the last year that would fit whatever narrative you pick.
100%. So fuck the United States. I don't want to hear about their bullshit. Okay, that's
Yeah.
that's irrelevant. That has nothing to do with Canada. It has nothing to do with us. And then he talks about embracing differences and embracing diversity. Unless you're Palestinian, that guy is such a anti-Palestinian racist. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And then a breeding ground for hate and glorifying violence. It's the exact opposite of that. We are protesting against a genocide and against an illegal war. Okay? You're the ones promoting violence when Doug Ford himself says he stands by the United States and Israel. Who's glorifying violence now? Just shut the fuck up. And then the last thing I want to bring up, and it's going to come up in the video that's going to come up, but the fact that he instructed the Attorney General. He is not supposed to instruct. The Attorney General is supposed to be separate from the government. And that was stated in a court of law, in an appeals court, that the government should not be influencing the Attorney General.
Separation of branches.
Correct. There should be no political influence. So the fact that fat fucking, sorry, I'm not fat shaming, but he's a fucking pig, okay? He reminds me of a pig. He reminds me of one of the pigs from Animal Farm.
Animal Farm? Yeah.
Yes, 100%. He's an Animal Farm pig. Okay, he's the perfect depiction of that. And that the fact that he's saying that he is directing the AG, like all of it, he drives me nuts. And then he drives me even more nuts when we get into the fact that I was used in their stupid injunction.
Oh yeah. This story takes a twist. We'll find out a bit more about that.
God,
because Deana is now involved in this fucking thing. So before we get to that, that's how Doug Ford's day started, and how it progressed to was womp womp.
Yeah, loser.
I'm extremely disappointed that the court has refused to put a stop to Quds Day, which has been long a venue for anti-Semitism, lie, hatred, lie, intimidation, lie, glorification of terrorism, lie. Well, the judge cited Canada's Charter of Rights and Freedoms when we talk about rights. Sorry to get that got that cut off. Clearly, the rest of it is bullshit. And I did love the fact that we had a rated community notes, and the entire thing just said, yeah, the whole thing is a fucking lie.
Well, okay, just because we didn't really, this is really important that we touch on this, and it will be touched on in the next video, is that he announced at 2:30 p.m. that he was going to, that he instructed the AG to file an injunction against the Quds Day Rally on the Friday, the Friday the 13th, and the rally was going to be on the 14th. And so the Quds Committee put out a statement to the idiot that the lawyer is Stephen Ellis, and if he wants to file an injunction, then they can send the application to Stephen Ellis. And by 5 o'clock, they did not receive the application. And so Quds Day was a go until literally approximately an hour before the injunction hearing, the Quds Committee got their application. They gave it to them an hour, just approximately an hour. 109 pages in this application of complete bullshit was sent to them so that they could defend this injunction application. I don't know what you're going to show next. What?
I can show Dimitri next if you'd like.
Okay, let's listen to Dimitri, because Dimitri Lascaris, and I posted this, and if you guys haven't seen this, the full video, you really need to see the full video. Dimitri Lascaris is a lawyer. He's in Montreal, but he is a very active pro-Palestinian lawyer for a very long time. And he put together this breakdown His show is called Reason to Resist,
Yep.
and this is just a little snippet of it, and I sped it
I'm
up
going to drop.
1.5 times because I wanted you to hear all of this. I wish we could play the whole thing on our show, but this part is
It's an hour.
Yeah.
It is an hour. I am going to drop the link to his episode
Yes.
in the chat, so you may
It was
all.
really, really well done.
Yeah. But in the meantime, here's the clip of what we want to focus on.
I put up on the screen here paragraphs 8 and 9 and 10 of this decision that was issued on Saturday just before the Quds Day Rally was held. And I'll start with paragraph 8. The court notes that an affidavit filed by the Attorney General said that on March 13th, 2026, Ontario Premier Doug Ford made a public announcement that he would be instructing, the court underlined the word instructing, the Attorney General to pursue an injunction to stop the Quds Day Rally scheduled to proceed on March 14th, 2026 outside of the U.S. consulate. In response to a question from me, this is the judge speaking, counsel for the Attorney General confirmed that the Attorney General himself determined that it was appropriate to bring this application to public interest and that the decision to seek this injunction rests with him and him alone, close quote. And the court, I think, quite charitably said, I accept the representation of the counsel for the Attorney General. And, you know, judges tend to be diplomatic in these matters. And at the end of the day, what basis would the judge have to say with confidence what was or was not in the Attorney General's mind when he decided to bring forward this disgraceful application? I think what was going on here was the court was simply, without pointing the finger, necessarily highlighting for the Attorney General that the court was concerned about whether, in fact, he had acted independently or was being subjected to improper political influences. The court then goes on in paragraph 9. This is really something, folks. It says, I have concerns regarding the timing of this injunction. The Attorney General has known for at least a year that the Quds rally would take place at around this time. The Attorney General relies on statements made by protest organizers that date back to 2016, a decade ago. The province of Ontario did not pass any laws or regulations to deal with this event. It did not invoke the Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act. Even allowing for rapidly moving current events, the Attorney General should not have come to court mere hours before the rally was set to start. There was no possibility of cross-examination on any of the affidavits, and the oral argument was necessarily truncated. Such a compressed timetable puts the court in a difficult position. Well, that's absolutely true. It does put the court in a difficult position, but it's really intended to put the respondents, the organizers, in a difficult position. These are people who are volunteers. I know them. They're not wealthy. Many of them are just workers who are doing this out of their commitment to justice, who organize this rally year after year. It's a considerable amount of time and energy. They're always vilified for it. And the Attorney General, I'm quite confident, did this. It ambushed them at the last minute, even though it could have brought this application many weeks or even many months before the Quds Day Rally was to be held, in order to make it harder for them to retain a counsel and to get, and to have their legal counsel respond in a meaningful way to the material that was filed by the Attorney General in support of its application. This is really dirty, underhanded tactics. And I think the court is quite right to highlight its concerns, but again, it's being rather diplomatic. And I am under no obligation as an observer, a legal observer who is not a participant in this proceeding, to be as diplomatic by the court. I'll tell you that this is scummy behavior. It is exactly the type of disreputable conduct that causes the public to have a negative view of the legal profession. And I cannot condemn the Attorney General strongly enough. And something that I personally, as a litigator with over 30 years experience, really dislike about the tactic employed by the Attorney General is that, as the court noticed here, because these affidavits were filed so late in the day, the respondents were not able to exercise their right, which they have under the rules of civil procedure in Ontario, to cross-examine under oath the persons who swear affidavits in support of the application. And I'm sure that my eminently capable comrade and co-counselor, legal counsel and friend Shane Martinez would have made mincemeat out of these affiants if he had been afforded the opportunity to cross-examine them. But as it turns out, he didn't even need to do that because this was such a bullshit application, and he was eminently well-positioned to defeat it. And you'll see at the bottom here, paragraph 10, the court notes that despite the short time frame, the respondent, the Quds Committee, filed 5 responding affidavits in effect, and that must have been an absolutely just extraordinary feat on their behalf, and I commend them for having pulled that off in such short notice. I know what it takes to assemble a responding motion record with sworn evidence, and doing it in such a compressed time frame is really a challenge. Now, let's go on and look at what the court had to say about the evidence, shall we? This is paragraph 16 and 17 from the decision. The court states, in addition, there is no evidence in the record that there were criminal charges arising out of last year's Quds rally in Toronto or at the rallies in any of the prior 30 years. Recall, folks, this is exactly what I said to the Toronto City Council in 2019. The Zionist lobby is always freaking out, accusing them of hate crimes this and hate crimes that, but no one associated with this event has ever been charged, let alone convicted, of a hate crime. The court goes on and says, there is no evidence that participants at last year's rally incited hatred or engaged in hate speech. There is no evidence before me of any criminality arising out of this rally in the past, much less evidence that could satisfy me that there is a quote-unquote strong case that there will be criminal activity this year. I'm also not satisfied that there is a strong likelihood that the rally will constitute a public nuisance. A nuisance is public if it, quote, materially affects the reasonable comfort and convenience, close quote, of members of the public. There is no evidence before me that any prior Quds Day rally in Toronto constituted a public nuisance. I would have expected to see such evidence in support of an injunction like this. folks, he's not only saying that the evidence is inadequate, he's saying that there's no evidence, none. Okay. Now, when you connect this with the lack of any evidence at all to support these inflammatory claims, with the statement by Doug Ford on the prior day that he had instructed the Attorney General to do this, I think we can safely infer that, in fact, what happened here is that the Attorney General was actuated by improper political motives, which is a violation of his duties as the Attorney General of Ontario. Now, I want to go.
So, whoops. So that is his interpretation, and pretty dead on accurate in regards to the entire game. I think personally, and I think what I'm thinking is very, very obvious here. I think his big points there was, yeah, it is very shorthand. It is very short time. Because for fuck's sakes, yeah, you do this at the last minute when you know you're not going to win, because you're going to try to pressure and overwhelm. It's kind of like just an overwhelming tactic. So,
yeah, it was scoundrel is exactly the term that he used. It was disgusting. And well, scoundrel came for something else, for the actual lawyer for the what is it called? The Attorney General, which is Tom Curry. And he has some things about Tom Curry that you guys honestly need to watch his show so that you can see exactly what we're talking about here. Anyways, but let's look at the injunction, the application.
I mean, no, we're not going to look at the whole thing now. We do have we have I have the entire application. So if you're really that interested, yeah, you can hit me or Deana up, and
I think
we'll
I
get it over
posted
to
it.
you guys.
Pretty sure I
think
posted
you did.
it. Yeah.
If not, yeah, let me know, and we can probably post it somewhere. I think we put it on. If we haven't put it on the Facebook page,
posted it too. Go.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can follow him and you'll find it. But anyways,
but it is 109 pages, and I think instead of going through the entire thing, we'll go through 4 particular claims in there. Who I don't know, but it might refer to somebody that you may or may not be familiar with. Just one of those crazy.
I can't believe that I was put in that stupid injunction.
I believe
it's ridiculous. Let's go. Let's watch. Let's see the arguments that they tried to make to cancel Quds Day.
So the fact you're the Attorney General of Ontario's now space is fucking weird, but I knew it. So here is the first claim. On March 11, 2026, Ms. Sharif X account posted a copy of a flyer for the rally with the hashtag Everybody Up It's Time. Reading Deana's tweet, Toronto and surrounding areas, join the Quds Day protest this Saturday, March 14, 2026 at 3 p.m. in front of the U.S. Consulate. Share widely, everybody up its time. Then there's the poster.
Okay, pause for a second.
Absolutely.
Just a quick second.
Take it in, everybody. Take it in.
The Crown Attorney, in my case, brought up the fact that I put everybody up its time, as if that's a scary thing to say. I don't remember exactly. It was such a weird, I have to go back into the transcripts. I just remember being shocked at the fact that this was in my failure to comply trial, at the fact that I used that hashtag. And I'm like, it's a hashtag I created a long time ago to tell people that it's time to get up and start protesting, start getting active, start signing petitions. Everybody up, it's time. And it sounds to me like these people are in the same, like, I don't know if anybody can help me out with this context. Do you think that that's a scary, this is what I'm talking about. Are the police going to come knocking at my door because I wrote everybody up its time? Like, what the fuck is this?
So I know the context because, again, I've seen this thing, because, again, you've been using it for a couple of years. Right. And I've seen it too. And I thought, yeah, that's kind of cute. And we'll see it. I think the first time I recall seeing it was, I think for
For
Billboard
trans
Chris.
defense.
Yeah, Billboard Chris, I
Yes.
think, is when we first started using it. So it's like, you're now worried about this tag that's
Now
been
it's a
used for a
problem.
couple of years? You weren't worried about it when it was for trans people. What are you telling me? What are you telling me?
It's just so weird that these Zionist lawyers are all concerned about everybody up its time. But anyway, moving on. Just had to throw that in there.
Absolutely. Claim number 2. On January 23rd, 2026, Ms. Sharif's X account retweeted a post which has since been deleted.
No, it hasn't.
Stating that the big war is about to start. Brace yourselves, and it's time to fight like hell, as shown below. So, before we continue, I'm going to show you the tweet that was allegedly.
They purposely took it out of context, you guys. These fucking fuckers.
So they claim that that particular one was deleted. I'm going to shock you and tell you the one post that they're talking about is from Resistance FR1. It's possible that they were blocking whoever was looking at it, but here it is, like right there. So again, the Crown, shock you here, is lying again. The big war is about to start. Brace yourselves. It's time to fight like hell. Everybody up, it's time. Breaking: Royal Dutch Airlines, Air France, British Airways, Lufthansa, Swiss Air, United and Air Canada are canceling flights to Israel, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab. This is in January 23rd. Deana, you can tell us what this tweet was about.
This totally has to do with Quds Day, obviously, you guys.
Obviously.
Oh my God. It has to do with the fact that the war has begun. The war has started. Like,
are you talking about the war that we're experiencing?
Yeah, the war that we are experiencing. The war that was so difficult to predict. I knew it was coming. We all knew it was coming. I'm not smarter than everybody else. Well, there's people who are trying to pretend that there wasn't a war. Those are the Zionists trying to pull the wool over our eyes. But I was telling everybody, here it comes.
Sure enough.
Yeah. But I'm the one glorifying violence because I know that there's going to be a fight.
But yeah, it was, So there's the original tweet. So because you know what? As I've said to many people many times, context matters. And when you take out that context, a tweet from January 23rd, it kind of looks like you're making shit up.
Do you know that fighting doesn't only mean using violence and force? Fighting for something means actually getting up and using your voice. That's time to fight like hell. Like, stand up and shut this shit down. But anyway, moving on.
Moving on, we get to this one here, which was March 12, 2026. Sharif's X account retweeted a post justifying the attack on Temple Israel in Michigan, discussed below. The Temple of Israel Synagogue in Michigan is the hub of genocidal Zionism, not merely ideology, but materially, including the financing of Israeli death cult and its rape army and rape soldiers. Israel is the only case in the U.S. and West, more generally, where you can raise. Show more. I don't know. Thoughts on this one?
It's true. Everything that Z Squirrel put in there is true. They're not saying that they should have gotten shot up. What they're saying is this is not just a synagogue that was shot. This is a place that is materially, financially involved in the genocide. And so I'm sharing somebody who did research on this synagogue and shared it. They didn't say, and nowhere in this does it say that the synagogue should have been shot. What it is, though, is doing is telling you exactly what this synagogue is. And in the more, you'll see that they brought regularly IDF soldiers to their synagogue. Okay. People who should be arrested for war crimes, people who likely, or should at least be investigated, likely killed children, likely raped prisoners, likely stole somebody's land, or killed innocent civilians.
Yep.
Anyhow, again, this has nothing to do with Al-Quds.
Correct.
But moving on.
And number 23. This one is on March 13th. Ms. Sharif's X account purported to make an announcement on behalf of Al-Quds committee that the rally the rally would proceed on March 14th at 3 p.m. The tweet includes the statement, "See you all tomorrow," which suggests to me that Ms. Sharif intends to attend the rally. Oh my God! Oh my! All right.
Big bad Deana Sharif might come to the rally. Hey guys, you know that lawyers are supposed to be one of the smartest people in the room when you're in a courtroom, right? And they went to school for a very fucking long time. And somehow, especially these lawyers, the Crown, there was 4 of them. 4 of these highly intelligent people don't know what quotation marks mean. Open quote, and the "see you all tomorrow" is inside. The close quote is at the end. Again, read it. Al-Quds committee announcement. Quotations. There's the announcement. And they're not the only lawyers that got it wrong. Some other idiot lawyer was harassing Stephen Ellis, saying that I said that I would be there tomorrow. Anyway.
Let's take a look at the actual tweet here. Breaking, attention Ontario, Canada, world, breaking. Al-Quds committee announcement. Open quote. Therefore, this is now the committee speaking. Not Deana.
I must be part of the committee, though. That's what they're saying. I'm part of the
They
committee.
keep alleging that, but they haven't. Here's the thing. And again, I understand this. This is kind of like the whole thing about court. I haven't seen any evidence that they presented that proves that you are part of that said committee.
I'm thinking because I'm making posts on my account.
Post? Cool. If I make a post about on behalf of Canada, does that mean I'm automatically in charge of Canada?
Yeah, you are.
I'd love to be able.
You're part of the committee.
Like
You're at least part of the committee, Joe.
Apparently, I become automatically an MP by just posting from the first from that perspective. That's cool. Love the way that power works. The Al-Quds rally is on. Mr. Ford has stated blah 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 blah, and
that he intends to seek an injunction to keep us from celebrating Al-Quds Day tomorrow, Saturday, 3/61 at 3 p.m. As of the time of this posting, we have received no notice whatsoever of any court proceedings. This means the show must go on. See you all tomorrow. Free Palestine, free Lebanon, free Iran.
From the committee.
From the committee.
At the time, as you pointed out.
Close quote.
The post was March 13th, which was a day before they finally brought in the injunction.
At about 5 p.m. too, like after 5
p.m.
when the courts closed.
Yeah, right at the 11th hour, because they want to make sure they have as little time as possible to prepare for a response.
Yeah,
ultimately,
knew
you were so terrible at doing this, Attorney General, that you gave 109 pages of absolute garbage, giving absolutely little time to respond to all the individual points.
And this is part of the
you
garbage.
Still lost epically.
Yes.
And
they're going to lose epically because it's all garbage. The fact that they put those in, there's a funny part in there about whether or because they brought up the Simudin or Samidun, which is like
they've declared as a terrorist organization.
Yeah, Canada decided that they were going to be declared. I don't know much about them, whatever, but I was put in the same class as them, which, okay, that's cool. But the judge ended up making a comment about something to the effect of, even if there were unsavory people or unsavory accounts posting on behalf of the Al-Quds committee, doesn't mean that they are part of the committee or something along those lines. It was funny.
Hang on. I think we're missing the big story here. You've been officially declared by a judge in Ontario as potentially being unsavory.
Just so you know, you guys, I just wrote another song called Unsavory Woman. It inspired another song.
have an unsavory friend.
I got a
Oh, my.
monkey on my back. It doesn't bother me. I'm gonna wear him like a fur coat. My moshi she. There's more.
I'm impressed. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is not. Oh, sorry. I thought that there was another one there, but let's see here. But yeah, so this is, yeah. So I mean, this is how the court case went through, and again, it was fucked up. And again, it failed epically because the entire thing was based on just,
Garbage.
hey, we're going to throw a whole bunch of shit at the wall, 109 pages worth of shit, and see how it goes. Now, I didn't get a full total count in regards to how many. Actually, wait, no, I can tell you guys right now how many total points it had in there.
Who, the judge?
Not the judge, the application. Because
Oh,
the application was 109 pages, but they brought in a total of 108 points. Oh my goodness. I missed one. Parts service. Because I'm looking at the 108. You are number 108, by the way.
Oh, yes,
Deana.
that's the one. That's the. Oh.
On March 13, Ms. Sharif's ex-account purported to make an announcement on behalf of our Quds Committee that the counsel of committee is Stephen Ellis, providing Mr. Ellis's information. Again, attention Attorney General Douglas and Premier, I have a message to pass along from the Al Quds Committee. Again, saying you're passing the message as in like you're not part of the fucking committee. Counsel to Al Quds Committee is Stephen Ellis. He is can be contacted at stephenellis.law.ca.
So they knew who he was. Why didn't they send him the application that same day? They're so stupid.
They had the info.
Yeah, they did.
So it was clear. But yeah, so
I love trolling fascists. You guys know this.
I know.
This is what I do.
Really? I've never seen it. Never seen it.
I had no idea that I was doing it at this point. I didn't know. It was totally by accident.
But so there was violence though at the Al Quds protest though. That I need to recognize this, and I need to talk about there was arrests.
There were arrests.
There were arrests.
Mm-hmm.
And shockingly enough, it was actually on. So the Toronto Police is making public aware of 2 arrests made at the Al Quds Day demonstration on September 14, March 2026. The Al Quds demonstration took place in the University Avenue and Armory Street area. In addition to those attending the Al Quds Day demonstration, counter protests were also there. During 2 unrelated incidents, 2 men were arrested. The accused male participating in the counter, it is alleged that the accused, a male participating in the counter demonstration, Israel side, engaged with a victim and a participant in the Al Quds demonstration who was holding a stick with an Islamic Republic of Iran flag attached. The accused began swinging his arms and fists at the victim, breaking the stick and causing pieces of it to strike the victim in the head. Farshid McVandifar, 56, Toronto, was arrested and charged with mischief, property damage under $5,000, and assault. He is scheduled to appear in the Ontario Court of Justice, 10 Armory Street, on Wednesday, July 22nd. It is first alleged that the second accused, a male participant in the counter demonstration, followed the victim, a participant of the Al Quds demonstration, who was wearing an Islamic Republic of Iran flag on their back. The accused spat on the victim and ripped the flag off their back. The accused returned into the crowd and was later located among the counter demonstration group. The accused was observed to be lighting an Islamic Republic of Iran flag on fire and wearing Islamic Republic of Iran flags attached to the soles of his shoes. Mustafa Shabian Bashmandust, 39 of Toronto, was arrested and charged with assault, criminal harassment, theft under $5,000, possession of property obtained by crime under $5,000, public incitement of hatred. The last one is not
They
good.
they are losing their minds. The Zionists are losing their minds. They keep forgetting about the first 4 of those charges. And all they keep saying is, Look at, they're burning the Israeli flag and you're not arresting them for public incitement of hatred, but you've arrested this man for public incitement of hatred. Yeah, after he stole the flag and started lighting it on fire. Okay, that's really what this comes down to. After he spat on the guy, stole the flag, assaulted him, and
I
started,
think all of that kind of adds up to
yeah, like,
something.
shut up already. Okay, stop leaving shit out. Okay, this guy was a violent piece of shit. You guys complain that the violence comes from the other side. There was no violence coming from the other side, and now you just want to try to whitewash this whole thing and pretend that this guy is being charged for no fucking reason. Give me a break. These people are psychotic. They literally are psychotic. There was 4 detained, by the way, but those 2 were arrested out of the 4 that were
Correct.
detained.
That's the only information we have about the 4 detained, because it's Deana's absolutely correct. There was 4 detained, but only 2 that the police have released information about. It's quite possible the other 2 were released, catch and release,
Correct.
which is not uncommon. Which brings me up to, I'm not sure if we want to go into the Stephen Nelson's current work right now.
Yeah, just really quickly. So just very quickly, Warren Kinsella from the Toronto Star, Sun,
I was going to say
excuse me.
I was going to say start off with Doug.
Doug. Okay, well, Doug came after, but sure. Doug Ford.
Okay,
it's okay. Doug Ford received a C&D today, a cease and desist today by the Quds committee. Stephen Ellis is the lawyer or counsel for the Quds committee. And he's giving, the Quds committee is giving Doug Ford 7 days to retract all of his disgusting statements that over 100,000 or hundreds of thousands of people have seen. They were defamatory. And so the committee is asking for 5 things: the immediate removal of the defamatory video and posts from all print and social media, which is this, I can't read that fast, but I mean, you guys can see it. I posted it online. It's no big deal. We don't have to go through it all. But if you watch Doug Ford's video, and the last 2 pages are Schedule A of the, the 2 and 3 Schedule A, you will see the timestamps of where he made those defamatory statements, and it's almost 2 pages worth of times where
2 pages. I'm not sure if everybody can see it, but I can tell you guys right now, when you take a look at Anita's posting about it, they are bolded as to the things that they're highlighting, saying these are inaccuracies.
That's right. And then he further doubles down after the court makes a decision, and which is the last page, and talks about how extremely disappointed he is that the court refused to put a stop. And then this is what we missed when he says, go back to the end, please. Yeah. We need to be clear that no one in Canada has the right to incite violence or free license to intimidate and hate, which nobody did and nobody does. The judge also said that the Toronto police do not need an injunction to preserve the peace. That's unbelievable, is it? What part of that is unbelievable? If that's the case, I fully expect the police will immediately intervene at the first sign of hate. And they did, Mr. Ford, they did. With violence.
Even an arrest about it.
That's what I'm talking about. 2 arrests. Violence, glorification of terrorist organizations. I won't stop working to put an end to the hatred and division. He is the one who is putting the hatred and division into this province. Non-fucking stop. And he says it runs rampant on Canada's streets. No, it fucking doesn't, you idiot.
It runs around in Queen's Park right now.
Literally.
Well, he's on vacation.
We have Nail Gun Zionist, okay, who has court coming up on July 6th. We have fucking chemical substance grandma who started trying to spray people with her fucking janitorial shit that she said, whatever she got arrested for. You have that dumb bitch, Lauren Birnbaum, who her charges were stayed after she ripped a hijab off of a woman at a Palestinian protest. This is the violence. You're not seeing it coming from the other side. And then you have these 2 fucking asshats who are breaking people's flags and spitting on them and all this other shit. And you have fucking this other dude who throws coffee at the protesters here in Ottawa, Like, it's just, get a life. These are the violent people, not our side. And Doug Ford had the audacity to put out a idiotic, this is also causing division, when he went to the Iranian protest last month, and he's sitting there telling people we need to take a page out of their book. And we got to see, there's many videos of how the Iranians and the Zionists, the Israeli Zionists, were behaving to the Al-Quds protesters. It was vile and disgusting. Anyway, but then you have Warren Kinsella, who wrote an article, a piece in the Toronto Sun, and he posted that there were pictures, anti-Semitic pictures, that were seen at the Quds Day Rally, and that went viral, sort of, amongst the Zionists. And you saw a couple of pictures. One of them, you can't even see who the person is. I will say to you that these pictures are anti-Semitic. That hook nose is blackface to black people. If you are putting that kind of picture up, you are disgusting, and you need to cut it out. You can send your message without being a bigot. Okay, that is a bigoted a sign. I can't see the person behind that sign, though.
I wouldn't say bigot as, but well, bigoted racist. I mean, that we can muddle over the.
A bigot is somebody who's whatever, that doesn't like a certain group of people. It's a generalized statement.
Yeah.
So anyhow, but he tried to pin it on the Quds Day Rally, and sure enough, those pictures were not taken from the Quds rally. So he defamed the committee once again. And then every fucking Zionist politician and journalist and you know who put these pictures out as if it were fact, and further defamed the Quds committee and the Quds participants, saying that they were responsible for this. They are not. And so they yesterday received a cease and desist with similar demands to what Doug Ford has received. And then, breaking news, since right before we started our show, Warren Kinsella puts up a post saying some bullshit about how, oh, they're trying to sue us. Are they scared? Or is it because they know that there's going to be charges coming? Who's they? When he posted that, he put his article back up, but he edited the article and took out any mention of Quds because he knows he's full of shit. But he's still trying to say that those pictures were taken the same day, but in another location. Again, nothing to do with Quds, somewhere else. But guess what, you guys? He's still full of shit because those pictures have nothing to do with Quds Day. It was taken on a different day. And the Quds committee and everybody else, there's many people, including myself. I said this in a comment to somebody because somebody had said there were no anti-Semitic pictures. And then I responded, the posts that I'm seeing online, the pictures that I'm seeing online do depict anti-Semitic. They are anti-Semitic, or I've seen some of the pictures. But again, I'm going to wait till this investigation is over because they're calling on the AG. The Toronto police was so... the lobbyists, B'nai B'rith, CJA, the fucking idiot Michael Tepper from the CAEF, whatever, the Canadian Anti-Semitic Education Foundation, whatever bullshit. They're all over, honest reporting, are all over the Toronto police. So the Toronto police put out a statement saying that they are talking to the Attorney General about possible hate crimes committed at Quds Day with these anti-Semitic signs. Guess what? Those signs weren't even at Quds. And Quds even acknowledges those are anti-Semitic. And why would the Quds committee or anybody attending Quds when many of the people that are joining are Jewish, allow such disgusting depictions of
Yep.
Jewish people unchallenged. It just wouldn't happen.
And you can be political and push and even get the Attorney General to put in all sorts of ridiculous things like a 109-page application for an injunction.
He's a Zionist
But the
anyway.
fact is, if your only source in regards to this right now is a single Twitter account claiming like, yeah, this is what's there. And
A
nothing else
news
to verify
article with fake news in it.
Not even a news article, because the news article is sourcing the one Twitter account. You don't even have a case.
Yep.
And a judge will.
They got to do an investigation. Speaking of investigations, who shot up that synagogue? Where are we at? There's supposed to be surveillance all over Toronto. Don't tell me you guys don't have more than just one shot of a white SUV. Let's go. Release what you have. Bullshit.
Agreed. All right. We're over time.
Yeah, we are.
I think it's up for us. Thanks for joining us tonight. We shall be here again next week. Till then, you can always follow us. Deana will definitely be posting a little bit more, some of the extras in regards to tonight, as well as the anything updated in regards to Al Quds. And until then, we'll have one last video for you guys. Till then, good night.
Good night, everybody.
See you next week.
You know, I might just be a dumb bitch who doesn't know shit about fuck, but it seems to me like it's a whole lot more effort too, when it's actually free and easy to not. Because why do when you could don't? Maybe we should stop killing people.